I stared at the bright yellow sticky note on my chair, the words glorified babysitter written in Amanda's perfect cursive. Around me, my brother's expansive mountain cabin buzzed with the chaos of our annual family reunion. But I remained frozen, staring at those two crushing words. Oh, don't look so hurt, Olivia. Amanda's voice dripped with fake sweetness as she adjusted her designer sweater. We all know that's why Tom keeps you around. The kids adore their aunt. She said the last word like it was something distasteful. My brother Tom glanced our way but quickly became absorbed in a conversation with our cousins. He'd been doing that a lot lately, looking away whenever his wife took jabs at me. I tucked the sticky note into my pocket, refusing to give Amanda the satisfaction of seeing me upset. The children are lucky to have me, I replied quietly, straightening the outdoor first aid kit I always carried. 15 years of mountain rescue experience had taught me to be prepared, though my family never bothered to ask about my hobby. Amanda rolled her eyes. Right, your little wilderness obsession. At least it gives you something to do between babysitting gigs. She turned to the gathered family members. Everyone, let's get ready for photos. Olivia, could you wrangle the children? I watched as my nieces and nephews played near the tree line, their laughter carrying across the crisp mountain air. 8-year-old Emma was showing her younger cousins a pine cone she'd found, while 6-year-old Lucas attempted to climb a low branch. My trained eyes automatically assessed the terrain, noting possible hazards, escape routes, and shelter spots, habits ingrained from countless rescue missions. They're fine where they are, I said, but Amanda was already shaking her head. The light's better by the lake. We need these photos to be perfect for social media. She clapped her hands. Children, photo time. The kids groaned but began making their way over. I noticed Lucas lingering by the trees, his face set in that stubborn expression I knew too well. Before I could say anything, Amanda marched over and grabbed his arm. Lucas, come on, Mommy needs you to cooperate. But Aunt Liv said we could explore the trail later, he protested. Amanda's face tightened. Aunt Liv needs to stop filling your head with this outdoor nonsense. It's not like she's a real guide or anything. If she only knew. My hand brushed against the search and rescue badge in my pocket, the one that marked me as the team leader for the most elite mountain rescue unit in the state. But I'd learned long ago that trying to defend myself only made things worse. The family gathered by the lake, arranging themselves according to Amanda's precise instructions. I ended up at the far edge, barely in frame, with the kids clustered around me. As our cousin Sarah fiddled with the camera timer, I felt a tug on my sleeve. Aunt Liv, Emma whispered, can we still go exploring after? Sheh, Amanda hissed. Everyone smiled. The camera flashed, capturing what would look like a perfect family moment. Immediately after, Amanda began herding everyone toward the cabin for lunch. I held back, watching the kids drag their feet. 20 minutes, I told them quietly. Then we'll check out that trail. Their faces lit up, but Amanda overheard. She spun around, her designer boots crunching on pine needles. Absolutely not. The children need to rest after lunch. We're not all obsessed with playing park ranger, Olivia. I met her gaze steadily. They need fresh air and exercise. The trail is perfectly safe. Because you're such an expert, she laughed, turning to Tom. Honey, tell your sister to stop undermining me. Tom shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should all stay close to the cabin. The mountains can be dangerous. The irony of his statement would have made me laugh if it wasn't so frustrating. I'd lost count of how many tourists I'd rescued because they thought these mountains were just pretty scenery. Fine, I said, watching dark clouds gather over the distant peaks. My weather-trained eyes noted the sudden drop in temperature, the shifting wind patterns. A storm was coming, and it would be a bad one. As everyone filed into the cabin, I pulled out my phone and typed a quick message to my rescue team. On family vacation at Bear Ridge. Storm incoming. Stay alert. Then I added my coordinates, a habit that had saved lives more than once. Amanda's voice carried from inside. I don't know why she insists on playing these wilderness games. It's not like she has any real skills. I looked at the sticky notes still in my pocket, then at the gathering storm clouds. Sometimes the mountains had a way of revealing the truth about people. I just hoped it wouldn't take a crisis for my family to finally see me clearly. Little did they know, their glorified babysitter had already started preparing for what was coming. Because in these mountains, a simple family reunion could turn dangerous in the blink of an eye. And when it did, all those years of playing park ranger would make the difference between life and death. The storm hit faster than anyone expected. One moment we were finishing lunch, and the next, the cabin windows rattled with fierce winds. I watched the children's faces pale as thunder cracked overhead. "Nothing to worry about," Amanda announced, though I caught the tremor in her voice. "We'll just stay inside and play some games." But I was already counting heads, a knot forming in my stomach. "Where are Emma and Lucas?" Amanda's perfect smile faltered. "They were just here. They went to find pine cones," little Sophie piped up, "for the craft project." My heart stopped. "When?" "During lunch. They said they'd be quick." Amanda rolled her eyes. "They're probably just in their room." "Stop being so dramatic." I was already moving, pulling emergency gear from my pack. "Tom, call the ranger station. Tell them we have 2 children missing, ages 8 and 6. My rescue team leader voice took over, the one that had guided countless operations. "Missing?" Amanda's voice rose. "Don't be ridiculous. Lucas, Emma." The cabin echoed with silence. "They can't have gone far," Tom said, but I saw the fear creeping into his eyes. I tossed him my satellite phone. "Use this. Cell service will be down soon." I was already layering up, checking my first aid supplies and emergency beacon. "Where do you think you're going?" Amanda demanded. "To find your children before this storm gets worse." "You can't go out there. We need to wait for real rescue." I pulled out my search and rescue badge, watching her eyes widen. "I am real rescue. Team leader, Mountain Division." Now, does anyone remember which direction they went? The room fell silent. Years of dismissing me as just the family babysitter suddenly seemed to hang heavy in the air. Sophie pointed toward the back trail. "They wanted to find the big pine trees." I knew exactly where they'd gone, the grove we'd spotted earlier, half a mile up. Dangerous in good weather, lethal in a storm. "Olivia," Tom started, his voice breaking. "I didn't know." Later, I cut him off. "Call that number. Tell them Alex's team needs backup at Bear Ridge. They'll know what it means." The wind howled as I stepped outside, instantly soaked by freezing rain. Visibility was down to yards, but I'd navigated these conditions countless times. My emergency beacon pulsed steadily. If things went wrong, my team would know where to find us. I found their tracks quickly, thank God. Small boots in the mud, leading exactly where I'd feared. The trail grew steeper, more treacherous. Thunder cracked so close it made my teeth rattle. Then I heard it, a faint cry carried on the wind. "Emma, Lucas, Aunt Liv." The response was weak but clear. Following the sound, I pushed through dense brush to find them huddled under a fallen tree. They were wet and scared, but unhurt. "The thunder got scary," Emma sobbed. "We tried to go back, but couldn't find the trail." "You did the right thing staying put," I assured them, pulling emergency blankets from my pack. Rule 1 of being lost: hug a tree and wait for rescue. "You found us," Lucas said, his voice full of relief. "Just like you promised you always would." As I wrapped them in the thermal blankets, I couldn't help but remember all the wilderness safety rules I'd taught them during our playing outside, rules their mother had dismissed as unnecessary, the same rules that had kept them alive. But we weren't safe yet. The storm was intensifying, and the trail back would be treacherous. I clicked my radio, knowing my team would be mobilizing. "Alex to base. I have the children, both stable, beginning extraction from Upper Pine Grove." The radio crackled. "Copy that, team leader. Backup is en route. Storm's getting worse. Do you need immediate air support?" I assessed our situation. The kids were cold but mobile. The helicopter would be risky in these winds. "Negative. Ground extraction possible. Have medical on standby at the cabin." "Roger that. Be careful up there, boss." I could picture Amanda's face when she heard me being called boss, but there was no time to dwell on it. I secured the children's blankets and checked their temperatures. "Okay, mountain explorers, we're going on an adventure. Stay close to me. Step exactly where I step. Can you do that?" They nodded bravely, transforming from scared kids into my newest rescue team members. We moved slowly but steadily, me checking every step, then following precisely in my footsteps. I kept up a steady stream of calm chatter, turning each safety procedure into a game. "Remember what the different types of lightning mean?" I asked as we navigated a tricky section. Count the seconds between flash and boom, Emma recited. Then divide by 5 for miles. Perfect. And what's our rule about water on the trail? If it's brown, go around. If it's white, hold tight. Lucas answered proudly. The lessons they'd soaked up during our unnecessary outdoor time were keeping them focused, keeping them safe. Each step took us closer to the cabin, but the storm showed no signs of letting up. Finally, through the curtain of rain, I saw flashlights. My rescue team had arrived, spreading out along the trail with professional efficiency. And there, at the edge of the search line, stood Amanda and Tom, their faces pale with worry and realization. Amanda's mascara ran in black streaks down her face as she rushed forward, but my team intercepted her smoothly. "Stand back, ma'am," Alex, my second-in-command, ordered. "Let's get them checked out first." I guided the children toward the medical tent my team had already set up. "These are my brave explorers," I told Sarah, our medic. "They followed every safety protocol perfectly. Just like you taught us, Aunt Liv." Emma beamed, despite her chattering teeth. I watched Amanda's face as the reality of the situation sank in. Her glorified babysitter was coordinating a professional rescue team with the confidence of a seasoned leader. "BP's normal," Sarah announced, checking Lucas. "Minor cold exposure, but they're both okay." "You got to them in time, boss." Tom stepped forward, his voice thick with emotion. "Olivia, I had no idea. All these years." "Chief," Alex called out. "Local news is here. They want a statement from the rescue team leader." I caught Amanda's slight flinch at the word chief. The sticky note with glorified babysitter suddenly felt very heavy in my pocket. "No press," I said firmly. This was a private family matter. I turned to my team. "Great work, everyone. Standard debrief tomorrow at base." They nodded, packing up with practiced efficiency. As the last rescue vehicle pulled away, I finally allowed myself to sink into a chair, exhaustion setting in. Emma and Lucas, wrapped in warm blankets, wouldn't leave my side. "Can you tell them about the time you rescued the lost climbers?" Lucas asked excitedly. "Or the helicopter mission?" "Helicopter mission," Tom's eyes widened. I managed a tired smile. "Maybe another time. Right now, you two need hot chocolate and rest." "I'll make it," Amanda said quietly. It was the first thing she'd said since we returned. As she headed to the kitchen, I heard her muttering to herself. Helicopter mission, rescue team leader. The children finally settled on the couch, the excitement of their adventure catching up with them. I did one last check of their vital signs, a habit I couldn't break. "Olivia," Tom said, sitting beside me, his voice low. "Why didn't you ever tell us about your work?" I pulled out the crumpled sticky note. "Would it have mattered? I was just the family babysitter, remember?" He winced. "I'm sorry. I should have stood up for you. It's just, you never seem to mind, always so quiet about your life." "I minded," I said softly. Every time Amanda made a snide comment about my wilderness obsession, every time you looked away, every time my expertise was dismissed as just playing in the woods. But I learned to stay quiet because it was easier than fighting for respect I shouldn't have had to earn. Amanda returned with the hot chocolate, her hands shaking slightly. She handed me a cup, not quite meeting my eyes. "The ranger station called," she said. "They said without your quick response and expertise, in these conditions." She trailed off, looking at her children. I understood what she couldn't say. In mountain rescue, we measured survival chances in minutes, not hours. "I never meant," she started again. "Yes, you did," I interrupted gently. "You meant every dismissive comment, every belittling gesture. You wanted me to know my place in this family. Well, today you learned what that place is." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I was jealous," she whispered. "The way the kids adore you. How you can teach them things I never could. It was easier to make you small than admit I felt threatened by their aunt, the rescue team chief." Emma stirred on the couch. "Mom, did you know Aunt Liv's picture is in my science book? My teacher showed us during the mountain safety unit." Amanda let out a wet laugh. "No, honey, I didn't know that." "There's a lot you don't know about me," I said, standing up. "But that's not your fault alone. I let your perception of me become my prison. Not anymore." I headed for the door, ready to drive back to base, but Tom caught my arm. "Stay," he said. "Please, let us know you, the real you." I looked at my niece and nephew, already half asleep on the couch. At Amanda, whose carefully constructed hierarchy had crumbled in one stormy afternoon. At my brother, finally seeing me clearly after all these years. Okay, I said. But first, I need to call my team. We have a mountain safety course tomorrow at the community center. The kids might like it, if their mom approves. Amanda wiped her eyes, a genuine smile replacing her usually perfect one. I think that's an excellent idea. After all, we should learn from the best. As I made my call, I heard Luca's murmur sleepily. Mom, can we put Aunt Liv's rescue badge next to your wedding photos? Since she's a real hero and all. Yes, Amanda replied, and I heard the change in her voice. Yes, we absolutely can. Looking out at the clearing sky, I felt something shift in the mountain air. Sometimes it takes a storm to wash away old labels and reveal the truth. I wasn't just the family babysitter. I was a leader, a rescuer, and finally, truly seen. The yellow sticky note fell from my pocket as I moved to join my family. I left it there on the floor, the words "glorify babysitter" already fading just like the storm clouds above our mountain home.